In this video, we'll discuss the measures of central tendency. There are three measures of central tendency, so we'll start out with mean or average, which is denoted here by X bar. The mean is the central tendency measure used on a data set with no outliers. So X bar equals the sum of all data points over the total number of data points. Now we've done this before. We haven't specifically called it mean. We may have called it average, or maybe we did call it mean. What it means to have no outliers, it means that if we have a set of data points that's like 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, and 50, 50 would be our outlier because it's way out there from the rest of the data points of our set. So the next measure of central tendency we have is the mean, or the middle. The mean of the median of a data set is the middle data point when data is listed from least to greatest and is used when outliers exist. So if the number of data points is odd, then the middle number is the median. So we have, for example, we have 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. So what I would do is I would come through and I would mark off 5, and then I would mark off 13, I would mark off 7, and then I'd mark off 11, which would leave us with 9. And then if the number of data points is even, then the median is the average of the two middle numbers. So for example, we have 5.5, 7, 9, 10, 11, and 14. So I would do the same thing again. So I would mark off 5.5 and 14, 11 and 7, and that would leave us with 9 and 10. So we would take the average. So we would add 9 and 10 together and divide by 2. So we'd get 19 over 2, or 9.5. The last measure of central tendency we're going to discuss is mode. Mode is the most frequent data point that occurs. A data set can have no mode, one mode, two modes, but never more than two modes. Modes can be used on numerical as well as categorical data. So for example, we want to find the mean, median, and mode of the data set of scores from the 6th grade spelling test. And we want to determine which measure of central tendency would most fairly represent the class. So mean, we add up all our data points and divide them by 10 because we have 10 data points here. So we have, the total number comes out to be 756 divided by 10. And we divide by 10, we get 75.6. Then the median, we order the numbers from least to greatest. And then we mark out 33 and 90, 40 and 90, 80 and 90, 82 and 86, and we are left with 82 and 83. So we divide, or we add them together and divide, and we get 82.5. Our most occurring number is 90 because we have 3 90s here, and we have two 82s, but our most occurring number would be 90. Now, to determine which central tendency measure we should use, we need to determine if we have any outliers. So if we look at, the best way to see this is looking at when we reorder the median. So we have 33 and we have 40 down here, but then the next number we have is an 80, and we have 80s and 90s throughout the rest of it. So our best option would be to use the median as our measure of central tendency because we do have outliers. Now I'd like you to try this question on your own and bring your response with you to class. So you can read this here. We have calculate the mean, median, and mode of the data set of the Math 114 final exam scores. And I also want you to determine which one would be the best measure of central tendency.